everyone, welcome back. This is Jarvis. Today I just wanted to go review some deck stats that I went through over decks I've built over the past year. But before we get into these deck stats and the ones that matter, I just want to remind you to please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also go and follow me on my other socials, including TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram by following the link tree in the description of the video, as well as join my Discord. With these deck stats, there are a few that we are going to go over that are really important, including board wipes, card draw, lands, single target removal, and those are pretty much it. Maybe one or two more. But the first one we're going to get into is card draw. As you can tell, I averaged over all my decks 14 card draw spells. The lowest I have is 8, and that is in my treasures deck. The highest I have is 26, and that is in my Lelia deck. Not all card draw is the same though. So in my treasures deck, the card draw I have is either treasure based, like a Deadly Dispute, or something like that, or it's really powerful, like Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora. So I tend to get a lot more value over time. The card draw I have in my Lelia deck is Lelia herself as the commander, where she exiles a top card, or my other exile card effects. So they are more like card advantage and straight card draw. Well, where I do get to still see a lot of cards each game, I don't necessarily get to play all of those cards because a lot of times they do get to remain in exile. So remember, not all card draws are the same, but there are ways, even in mono red, to gain a lot of card advantage by those types of exile effects or even looting effects. The next category is single target removal. I average 10 in here, and I don't think I go too far from the high or the low, but my high is 15. That is in my Arkelos deck. Arkelos is with a Karuk Companion. It's a Sultai Tokens and Card Draw deck. And my low is actually Lelia, also tied with my Liberator Urza's Battle Doctor. In Arkelos, the reason why I play so much single target removal, which, as a caveat, I include counterspells as single target removal. Reason why is because blue doesn't really have too many ways to interact on the battlefield other than bounce effects. It does have the Pongifies, Resculpts, stuff like that, but those are few and far between. Counterspells go and answer problems while they're still in the stack and remove them from the game, or at least remove them from showing up on the battlefield or make an effect on the game and place them in the graveyard. But with that being said, Arkelos, I have counter spells in there that I count in removal, but then they also have single target removal to go and help me catch up, since I only have one or two spells I can actually cast before turn 3. Another time is channeling channeling some Kamigawa spells, not any of the lands, like actual creatures, like Mirror Shell Crab to counter a spell. So I play more removal in that deck to go and catch back up. Lelia, I don't run too much removal in that of the single target variety, mostly because that's a deck I am more concerned over accruing value long term, and not so much concerned about what my opponents are doing, because as long as I can go and give Lelia unblockable and let her get through, it doesn't really matter. Next are board wipes. My average is 3. The high that I have is 5. That is in Rigo, Streetwise Mentor, which is built as a mono white deck. And my low is 1, which is my reality chip deck. So the reason why Rigo is so high is it is mono white. So mono white does go and excel at wiping the board. Plus, it also has other board wipes than just straight creature. It can remove enchantments and artifacts and the like. And I count anything that removes a wide amount of one type as a board wipe. So, like Fracturing Gust, Austere Command, those count as board wipes in the scenario. The reason why Reality Chip doesn't, and then Mono White with Rio being 1 power or less matters, and tokens matters essentially. I'm able to rebuild in there a lot quicker than I am in any of my other decks. With Reality Chip, I wanted to keep my Reality Chip deck lower powered, So I didn't play Cyclonic Rift. The only board wipe I have in that deck is Aether Gust. I don't play any other board wipes. I just go and dirtle and do my own thing in that deck. The next category, ramp. Now this is both ramping through artifacts and land ramp spells, but also ramping through treasures, because treasures are ramp even if they're just burst ramp. I average 15 ramp spells. My high is 26, which is in my treasures deck, because that's just trying to generate treasures and as many treasures as possible. And my low is 10, which is tied between my Arkelos deck and my Rigo deck. I was actually a bit surprised when I saw that I'm only playing 10 ramp spells in Arkelos, just because it means that I'm not really giving myself to go and get ahead, because I'm not ramping in any way, because I don't play any of the extra land drops each turn or anything like that. So that was a surprise to me. But it is a deck that I do try to just win through building up a board state, and it's a lot of the time it is just one spell a turn. Mono White Rigo, that doesn't surprise me at all because that does have a rather low curve. So I'm not really trying to ramp. What I also included as ramp in here is cost reducers. So in Reality Chip, where I might not have that many ramp spells, I have a lot of cost reducers because of the combo that I'm trying to pull off in the deck. So cost reducers are like Ethereum Sculptor, or anything that just makes your spells cost one less, like the new Urza, the Meld Urza, that makes your artifact, your sorceries cost one less, or two less. Next, lands. So lands, I've actually started to go and go the opposite way of many people in lands. I used to average probably closer to that 33 number that's now my low. I'm now averaging 35, so I started putting in a couple more lands than I used to. But I am averaging 35 lands with a high of 38, which that is my Arkelos deck to make sure I hit all my land drops. And my low is 33, which is across two different monocolor decks, Lelia and the Reality Chip. They have rather low curves, and they are monocolored, so I don't have to worry as much about putting fetch lands in there, like Fabled Passage or Prismatic Vista or Terramorphic Expanse. I don't play the traditional fetch lands. I play the cheap ones. And once I get to like 5 or 6 lands in either of those decks, I'm pretty well set. Actually, Reality Chip could go and function off 3 lands and still win the game. In Arkelos, I need to go and have 38 to go and make sure I'm participating the entire time. Something to keep in mind, when I'm counting lands here, I am counting MDFCs as lands. For me, when I am building my deck, MDFCs count as lands for me because I'm okay with playing them in a land, and if I play a tap land, that's fine. I don't necessarily put them in there for their spell because their spell is just a nice bonus. More often than not, I am playing my MDFCs as lands. But if you go and take my averages here, 77 of the 100 cards in your deck are taken up by these categories. The other one, your commander. So you really have like 22, anywhere between 21 and 22 if you're playing partners, to go and express yourself through what your commander does. Even through the other cards in your deck that fulfill these categories, you can express yourself that way. So where a lot of people are saying that commanders become more homogenized in what you're doing, you still have a lot of room for self-expression, and I believe that I do that through the other cards that I'm playing, through what my commander wants to do. Have you went and gone over your averages for a deck? How many of each type do you go and play in your decks? Do you think I'm playing too few or too many of any of these spells or any of these items in these categories? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, everyone, have a good day.